Whew. What is up, my dogs? We've made it to New Hampshire. It's wet and it's pretty cold. It's like 50 degrees. And Chelsea and I drove 8 hours, almost 9 hours from DC to be up here on Lake Winnipesaukee up in New Hampshire. And it poured rain the whole entire drive and was very, very miserable drive. But we were here and it could not be more beautiful. First time I've been to New Hampshire and seeing the fall is truly like amazingly beautiful. There's my wonderful, beautiful wife and our very cute little Airbnb. And I am going to get dressed. Oh, thanks, that's nice. I'm gonna get dressed here and try to go throw off the dock that's actually on the property we're staying on. It's really cool. It's a like narrow strip of probably like an acre strip that's parceled out into 4 little cabin houses, and at the end of it, it is on Meredith Bay in Lake Winnipesaukee. So I'm gonna see if I can go catch some smallmouth maybe. And we're here for a wedding, so I'm like a little pressed on my time when I can fish, but I look at that big lake out there and I can't not go cast, so I'm gonna put some dry stuff on here. Hey, real quick before hopping to the video, I want to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Catchco. If you don't know what Catchco is, they are a company that makes really awesome lures. They make really unique things and they do great collaborations with anglers and bait makers. They actually are the people who I collaborated with to make the new lures that are my little run of lures, which are available in the link down below. And all the baits that I use in this video that you're about to watch are also Catchco baits. So go down there, check out the link, pick up some good stuff. I couldn't recommend it more. They make some really awesome stuff and they're a great company, so get on it. Wow, trippy stuff. Okay, well, let's see what happens here. My friend Matt, who I was just in Virginia seeing, has very coolly fished every single state in the US besides Alaska. He did a really cool trip last year doing that, and he has actually fished this lake that I'm at right now, Lake Winnipesaukee. And he said to me when I was there the other day that the Ned rig is the jam. It's all about the Ned rig. So since that is literally the only thing I know about this lake and know where to start with, we'll start with that. It is really cold, it is really wet and rainy. I don't really have very far to go. I'll probably end up, if I have some free time, maybe tomorrow, driving around and seeing what I can figure out and find some public spots to launch to fish out of and walk, you know? Okay, we are back from the wedding. No, that was funny. Get out of here. All right, we're back from the wedding. And I got like, what, how much time I have? 4 hours to fish? Yeah. 3 hours? So it was a morning wedding and we had a little bit of a brunch. And then we're reconvening for the reception tonight. So I got like 4 hours to make it happen. Chelsea's gonna go for a run with her sister Melissa, and I'm gonna go fishing, and I may go by myself or maybe joined by my friends Luke and my brother-in-law Nick, who are here at the wedding in New Hampshire as well. So we're just gonna change out of this, get in some fishing clothes, and hopefully go smack a big small jaws, or maybe we'll find some pike or largies or big crappie. I don't know. I just want to catch something out of Lake Winnipesaukee because it's a beautiful giant lake, and I've seriously never seen something more beautiful in my entire life. So I need to get out of the suit and go get in some smallies. I don't know what to think. This is like what I would think the best place I have to maybe catch a fish here. It's like a little marina on the side of this bay here. Actually, like I'm like 300 yards from where I just attended a wedding. The water is ridiculously clear. I can see my Ned rig in like 10 feet of water right now. That is really trippy. but I don't really know where else to fish from land. I'm kind of at a new moment here. Like, I fish mainly from a boat, and so we're trying to figure it out. So we'll float a Ned rig around for a little bit, see if there's any smallmouth hiding in the docks. We're gonna bust out a Goon Squad Scout here because it's honestly almost too windy to fish the Ned rigs I have. They're not quite heavy enough, and a Scout and a jerkbait is perfect for really cold conditions, and because I can suspend it and work it really, really slow, but also kind of on the side. I'm hoping throwing a jerkbait I might end up catching a big old pike or something. I would definitely not be upset about catching an old green one. Okay. Yeah. The wind was just becoming like impossible to fish. So, tie the old jerkinator on here. We're gonna bust out a Goon Squad Scout here because it's honestly almost too windy to fish the Ned rigs I have. They're not quite heavy enough, and a Scout and a jerkbait is perfect for really cold conditions. Gosh, that surfed in the wind. Man, I cannot get over how freaking ridiculously clear the water is here. It's like clearer than salt water in the Bahamas. Like, this is probably 30-foot viz. This is absolutely ridiculous. I can't tell if that's a fish. That's a fish. That feels like a big fish on the jerkbait. It's got to be a big pike, I think. It's a big fish, man, unless I like foul hook something. They got a pretty big fish on here. It's got to be a pike. It is a pike. I'm stoked. Oh, dude, it's heavy. Yeah, little pike. Nice. Beautiful pike. Wow. That is awesome. Oh, that is what I was hoping for. I am so happy right now. Beautiful pike on the jerkbait. Look at that. Let's see if I can flip them up on the dock here. It's a light rod and some light line to be flipping on, but oh. That's the biggest pike I've ever caught. A beautiful little pike right there, probably about 25, 26 inches. My biggest pike I think I've ever caught, and that's awesome, man. For my saltwater brothers back home, that thing is like the freshwater version of a barracuda. They get huge and they'll eat literally anything, and they're such a cool fish, man. Really, really cool. I've only caught pike one other time, and it was in Alaska on the fly rod, and they were really little, like 12, 15-inch pike. So catching that like 24 right there, it was really, really neat, man. Like literally, them and muskie, there's no fish closer to a barracuda in salt water, you know? So that was really cool. Whew. Whew. Man, that pike was pretty dope, I'm not gonna lie. Really cool just catching a new species I don't normally get. It's a lot grassier than I expected, so I think I'm gonna go run grab a spinnerbait out of my car, because I only brought like Ned rigs and jerk baits and some jigs because I thought I was just gonna be fishing a lot of rocks, but it's super grassy, which is really good for pike, and smallmouth will sit in grass as well. But I'm gonna run back to the car, grab some spinnerbaits, and we're gonna keep walking and see if we can get on some more pikeys. Oh, pike just followed all the way in. A bunch of pike just followed all the way in. What? Like literally like 6 or 7 fish just fall that way in. I don't know if that was pike or smallmouth or what. There's a bunch of fish right here. I see a pike. 100% see a pike. And then there was a few other type of fish with it though. What was that about? I don't know if that's a pike. That fish is so weird looking. Those might be... Dude, these are brook trout. These are huge brook trout. What? Oh my gosh. No way. This is a school of trout just followed my spinnerbait in. 100%. I can't tell if they're brookies or if they're rainbows or what. They're huge. They're huge. I didn't even think that was a possibility. It's 100% what they are. Like they're like 5 to 8 pound a school of trout. One of these would eat, I would lose my mind. Oh my gosh, and that one followed it in. That one followed it in. I am in shock right now. This is 100% what they are. I want to catch one just so I can prove I'm not a liar. It's big old trout. I seriously cannot get over how freaking beautiful this is. And I'm walking just along the main road of this town. Like there's 2 mallards right there. Beautiful changing trees. Crystal clear lake full of pike, smallies, trout, salmon, muskie. You name it, I think they're in there. Man, this is unreal. This looks like a good spot to proposition. Whew, well, good morning. I just finished up breakfast with my wife here, and then she dropped me off on the side of the road next to a lake that, funny enough, actually a caterer from the wedding we're at last night told me to go try. I didn't even bother getting up early to fish, even though we have to leave our Airbnb up in New Hampshire here at 11. It was just so cold this morning. It was 32 degrees, felt like 27, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get on some fish, and I would have frozen to death. So Chelsea and I grabbed some breakfast, and now she's dropped me off, and she's actually going to go and pack up the cabin and stuff for us, and I'm going to see if I can get on a smallmouth or a pike or something here. And this spot is just so beautiful. There's ice on the rocks, there's leaves falling out of the trees, and this water is ice clear, man. It's so cool. Gosh, I cannot get over how clear the water is here. It's like gotta be like 30 feet of visibility. It's like, looks like you're looking through ice. I'm gonna tie in a jerk bait, I think, and work it real slow. Alright, let's see if this can get it done. Maybe we'll whack a big old pike or a smallie on this baby bullshad swim bait. This is a bait made by Ketchco, a very, very cool one at that. And I'm just kind of thinking, you know, it's realistic. Now I'm about to approach some grass flats where this might end up being the ticket here to roll nice and slow over the grass for a pike. Maybe a big giant smallmouth sitting in there, who knows, but definitely tough. But this is kind of going to be our last hurrah, I think, before we unfortunately gotta roll out. But we're rolling out to bigger and better things. That's it. Oh, I just missed a fish out there. No friggin' way. I just got clapped. I can see a boil. Oh no. Maybe we'll come back for it. I know the pike, it could just be sitting right in the same spot. Oh, that would have been too good. Close it out with a pike. Who knows, it could have been a big smaller. Oh, Come on now. Oh, there's a fish. Nice. Oh my gosh, what is that? That's a trout, dude. That's a freaking trout, I think. Oh my god, it's a freaking huge trout. Oh my gosh. What? I can't believe I just smashed this bull shad. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, it's a big rainbow trout. Oh my god. I can't believe it hit that at the very end. It's a giant too. Oh, dude. I'm back way off my drag. Oh my gosh. He might come unhooked. He's thrashing so wildly. I might pull him down. There's a step down here. I might pull him up. Be easier way to land him. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. They have such soft mouths and treble hooks, and he's thrashing so wildly, dude. I'm afraid this fish is gonna pop off, but we're trying our best here. Whew. I don't want to flip him up on the dock. There's a nice little sandbank here. I'm gonna try to pull him up too. Holy crap. Come on, buddy, stay pinned. Okay. I can't believe that. I'm gonna push him out here in the water a little bit. Very wet hands, unbelievable. Big, beautiful rainbow trout right there. Unreal, unreal. Go, go, go. Oh my gosh. I am dumbfounded right now. That was gonna be like my last cast. And like a 5-pound rainbow on a swim bait, on a baby bull shad. It would be cool to be able to keep them, but they're out of season right now. And I am just blown away. I thought it was gonna be kind of a big bust here fishing in Lake Winnipesaukee, but I'm literally like in downtown. I'm fishing underneath a restaurant right now, dude. And a freaking tanker rainbow trout. Man, I know they get enormous in these lakes, but that was a huge rainbow on light gear. I could not be more grateful. Oh my gosh, the Lord provided for sure right there. It's time to go get some grub, I guess, man. I cannot wait to go tell Chelsea about this. I'm supposed to go walk over and meet her for lunch like 5 minutes away. Oh my gosh, that was unreal, you guys. We have just packed up the car and gassed up. It is goodbye New Hampshire, and we are leaving on the road to Boston. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the New Hampshire little leg. It was a grinder at first, and then whacked it out with a big whacked it out with a big old trout, and now we're on the way to Boston. Hopefully I'm gonna catch some big giant stripers while we're there and take in some of that Boston culture. Boston. All right, I gotta see you in the next one.